I'm very excited, actually. We have in the studio a guest. We have Seth Galifinakis. Let me make sure you're set up here.
Test.
Okay, yes.
Test one.
You're on.
Oh, thanks, Thomas. Thanks for having me on the show and stuff. I'm nervous. I've never done any radio show before. Do you take shout-outs? Do you do shout-outs and stuff like that?
We don't usually do shout-outs, no, but we can. I mean, are there people you want to shout out to?
Oh, well, I'm visiting my aunt in Secaucus, and I think she was going to listen in, and I was going to do a shout-out to her and stuff. Hey, Aunt Susanna. Was that a show? I mean, did that go over there?
Yeah, that's on the air. That went out. So
you play a lot of weird music. You ever play any music anybody knows about?
Yes, we play some stuff people know.
Do you know Smash Mouth?
Yes, I do know them. I don't generally play stuff like Smash Mouth.
They're good. They do that song from Shrek. Hey everybody, get down now. That's a good song. That's my favorite group, Smash Mouth and Rascal Flatts. Do you know Rascal Flatts?
Sure. Is that guy who looked like Larry Bird? Is that kind of the guy? I think I saw him on the Grammys, and
I think he does. He does look a little bit like him, I guess, like a slower version of Larry Bird, I guess.
Yeah. He actually looks like Larry Bird from 1985, though. Not even like Larry Bird in 2007.
Do you have any new in excess, like that TV show that was on, and they got a new guy because that other guy had sex with a car or something like that? Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, no, I don't think we have the new In Excess album.
Oh, how about Velvet Revolver? That guy that does a lot of heroin and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not into that stuff, but that group is it's like a super group. It's like somebody from Guns N' Roses and somebody I don't know but they're good.
It's a few guys from Guns N' Roses and a guy from Stone Temple Pilots.
They're good.
So is that the kind of stuff that you enjoy listening to, Seth?
And Korn.
Yeah, that's again that's not my kind of mine.
They're kind of wild. Like they spell their name with a K, and that kind of tells me like, hey, this is something different. And sometimes I try to listen to different music and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they spelled with K, I was like, I'm gonna give these guys a listen because they spelled it kind of weird and stuff. And I like Korn a lot, and I like some of the newer stuff that the Oak Ridge Boys are doing.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know they were even doing newer stuff now.
No, I just saw them at in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, mm-hmm. And they came out. Man, they did a lot of new stuff. I've never. I mean, they did like Elvira and a lot of that. But I mean, you might want to mix it up a little bit. It seems like a lot of your music's the same stuff.
Mm-hmm. Is that one guy still in the Oak Ridge Boys? There was that one guy who kind of had the
Daddy Clampett.
Yeah, had the big beard, and the other three were kind of clean cut.
Yeah,
and he was kind of like the Bowser of the Oak Ridge Boys.
Who's
from Sha Na Na? You don't know what that is?
Oh, yeah, that was that show that was on like years ago and stuff. That guy would flex his muscles and stuff.
Yeah, it was like a greaser kind of like a 50s show in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Zach was telling me you were writing on a show called you like produce a TV show, Monkey or.
Yeah, I do work on a television.
What's
show.
it called?
It's called Monk, and I kind of don't talk about it a whole lot on the air because it's kind of like I just kind of keep that life separate.
Well, he was just telling me like, hey, you should go in and talk to this guy because he does TV stuff. I'm trying to get into the TV business and stuff. And
okay, what would be the like what part of television are you looking to get into, Seth?
Audio. Maybe like...
You mean like engineering?
Yeah, audio engineering and stuff like that. And maybe...
you mean like holding a...
Set design, I like that a lot.
Uh-huh.
Also like...
I mean, would you want to be
catering?
The guy... Okay, that's a little further away from...
Well, I'll take anything at this point. I mean, I just think that the entertainment business is so exciting, and like I'm just so enthralled by. I watch Entertainment Tonight a lot, and I watch Mary Hart, and I'm like, man, I'd love to be involved in that kind of thing because everybody's so like cool and stuff.
Yeah, it does seem pretty cool when you watch like those kind of entertainment magazine shows. I know exactly what you're talking about. I guess for people who are not familiar with you, you live in North Carolina, and you're up here. What brought you up to this area?
My aunt in Secaucus is she was giving her, I think it's an F-150 truck away to a breast cancer society, and I was like, hey, why are you giving that away? I'll take that. And so I drove my Fiero up here, and hitching it up, I'm going to take the truck back to North Carolina. That's kind of why I drove up here with my wife.
So you came up because your aunt was going to give away a truck to a charity.
Well, she was thinking about it. She
Okay.
never promised anything, so they don't know about it. So yeah, I'm gonna take it. It's an '89. It's really nice. It's got AM, FM. It's got a CD player in it and everything.
Okay.
She says the air conditioner works on it. Power windows are working on it. It's got a window in the back of it and stuff like that. And it's got a truck liner. So my Fiero I drove up here. It broke down like twice, and but I'm going to hitch it up to my Fiero, which is kind of crazy because it's so small, and the truck's much bigger than the car it is itself.
So you're going to tow the truck back. You're going to hitch the truck to your car and tow this giant F-150 on your little Fiero.
Yeah, I told the guys at U-Haul, I was like, listen, I don't know if I have a hitch big enough, but this is what I'm hitching. And they're like, all right, well, we'll set you up. And sure enough, I think we're going to be able to latch it on tomorrow morning.
Well, why don't you just drive the truck back and hook the car to the truck?
Because the truck doesn't have a hitch.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can't just it's not easier to. I just pictured maybe putting a strain on your car.
Well, I put some back tires on it and stuff, some snow tires, and I have chains in case that's a problem.
Okay.
And
I don't know if you need chains in April, but I mean, I guess it's better to be prepared.
Oh,
Something like
I
that.
tell you what, Johnny.
Johnny?
Are you Johnny in the Johnny and Booger Stash in the morning?
No, my name's Tom. My name's Tom Scharpling.
Well, anyway, I'm pretty prepared for anything that goes. And it's only like a 11-hour drive from here, so it's not that big of a deal.
And what part of North Carolina are you from?
It's a place called Wilkesboro, North Carolina. It's the Foothill Mountains, right? The beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a red state.
Okay.
I don't know if you probably.
Is that much of a problem for you?
No, I mean I'm all for people of different mindsets, I guess.
Now you I guess are best known by way of your brother.
My brother is a stand-up comedian / actor, and he is people know him on the interline and stuff like that, but I don't think that. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think anybody knows who he is. So, but he asked me to come in tonight because he couldn't make it, and here I am.
Well, thank you for coming in. It's very exciting to have you here. I've seen you. You've made appearances on television, and
I have. I've done the Jimmy Kimmel show. That was crazy, and I've done I've done that show like twice. And I guess that's the only thing, and this is probably the third biggest thing I've done is your show.
Okay, well, that's exciting. So thank you for coming down.
Did you have a good Easter?
I don't even remember anymore. That was a while ago, wasn't it? I'm kind of getting ready for Mother's Day now.
Oh yeah, Mother's Day's coming. Easter was. We say down in North Carolina. Jesus has risen. Jesus has risen, but the biscuits haven't.
Okay, that's like for the food you're going to eat that day.
Yeah, that's what I kept telling everybody I was cooking for them. I was like, hey, Jesus has risen, but the biscuits haven't, and stuff like that. And I mean, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. You laughed at it, but it was. I mean, that was just.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't trying to offend with that. I thought it's kind of like it's playful. That's what I was laughing at. I mean, you have to admit it is a playful.
Well, Easter is, it's a serious time. I mean, this is your show, though. I don't want to.
Well, no, I'm not trying to.
I was in a
disrespect my
cab in New York City because I'm staying. Zach told me to go. I visited the Empire State Building today, and then I went to. And my cab driver's name was Foosball or something like that, like Foosball or Ping Pong or something. It was crazy. I was like, "How do you say your name?" He's like Foosball.
So he was like an Arabic of Arabic.
Yeah, he had like one of them. Like a beard, and like he had one of them fancy hats on and stuff, and I was like, "You have an interesting name," and he's like, "Yeah." I mean, I can't do his accent, but he's like, "Yeah, I do have an interesting name." His name, it looked like Foosball. It was like one extra L and an A at the end of Foos, but it was like Foosball or something.
Okay. And how? So you went to the Empire State Building.
I went to the Empire State Building, and I went. I didn't go up to the top of it. But I went inside, and that was fun. There's a TGI Fridays on the ground floor. I was like, why am I going to go up there to look at the city? There's like I mean, I don't drink a lot, but there was like a margarita thing, Margarita Tuesdays, and I had a couple margaritas, and that was fun.
That is fun. That actually. Now, did you feel at all any sort of curiosity about restaurants that you might not be able to get back home in North Carolina, about trying maybe different things while you're in New York?
Zach said the same thing, and I was like, well, is there a Bojangles in Manhattan? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I'm just curious to see what a Bojangles looks like, because I know there's one in Dubai. The cab driver, Foosball, was like, hey, there's a Bojangles in Dubai. And I'm like, you're kidding me. There's got to be one in New York. And but I just, you see things in your hometown, and you're like, I want to see the same thing in New York and see what the difference is. But there's a Bojangles here. I met my wife at Bojangles in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and so it kind of has this kind of certain meaning to me. But there was a really cool Bojangles, and there was a guy he looked like he was Indian or something working. He had one of those fancy shawls on or something, and he was working at the back of a boat. You don't see that. You don't see that in North Carolina. I was like, I took a picture of him. It's like, can I take a picture of you? And he's like, I guess. And I was like, I got to tell you something. You don't see a lot of people wearing what you're wearing at Bojangles in North Carolina.
Kind of somebody with like a different heritage, kind of like that. Like who would you see at Bojangles down in the Carolinas?
Ricky.
Well, no, not literally. Who would you see?
Oh,
like the type of person. Is it kind of like you? Just a.
You'd see like people people you go to church with, people that you might want to that you spend Christmas Eve with. Like I know a lot of people that work at Bojangles because my wife still works there. So I mean, it's pretty. Is the word incestuous?
I guess you're trying to say that everybody knows everybody at the Bojangles.
Yes, but there are a couple of cases of.
Well, no, I didn't mean it like that at all. But okay, yeah, everybody's very familiar with each other. They all know each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came up here. You're going to get your Ford F-150.
Yeah, I'm getting my aunt's Ford F-150. Sorry, those margaritas. You think they go away, but I tell you what, they still kicking in a little bit. So I'm taking her truck down, my truck, I guess, tomorrow morning down to North Carolina.
I should let everybody know we have Seth Galifinakis in studio. We're very excited to have him here. You may know him from his exciting TV appearances, but he's here. And
oh, listen, this is another thing. I was at a restaurant last night with Zach, and we ordered. Have you ever heard of calamari?
Yes.
He was like, "You like calamari?" And I'm like, "What's that?" And he ordered calamari. I was like, "Man, this is good." And
did he tell you what it was?
Yeah, it's like octopus.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, I can't believe I'm eating octopus." And he's like, yeah, it's good. And I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like a new thing for you.
I never even heard of it. That or yogurt.
You never heard of yogurt?
Mm-mm.
Wow. I would have... Calamari, I might have seen, maybe not making it down to certain places. But I thought yogurt was kind of an all-around thing.
I'd never heard of it. I was like, what's yogurt? And he ordered that too. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is good too. I mean, it's interesting to have different foods and to be in the city, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of people walking around that don't look like each other, and mm-hmm. I can't wait to get back. I'm sick. I want to get back. But it's been fun.
You're sick, meaning you're fighting a little cold or something? Or?
No, it just the city, the New Jersey and New York, and like Yankees in general, I think are like, they're crazy, and like I'm like, I don't get it.
Okay, so you kind of had your fill.
Yeah, I'm ready to go back. I just got here yesterday. I'm ready to leave.
Wow, so it's that quick, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like 36 hours, maybe something like you're.
No, just a day and a half.
Okay. Hey, the phone number is 201-209-9368. If you want have a question or a comment for Seth Galifinakis, who is in studio. Let's. We actually have a couple of people already on the line waiting to.
Zach said last time he was here, nobody called.
I thought people called.
Oh.
I thought it was pretty exciting. Let's see who's on now. At WFMU, you're on the air.
Yes, hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry for the noise. I don't know if you can hear this. I'm at Disneyland right now. I'm listening to you on my BlackBerry.
You're at Disneyland.
Hello?
I hear It's a Small World.
Yes, the ride. It's a small world after all. It's almost over. So very soon. We're coming out of the tunnel now, and I should be able to hear you presently. I just wanted to say I've been listening to you both on my BlackBerry, and it's been delightful. Just delightful to hear you two fellows conversing with each other.
Well, thank you. We're having a lot of fun talking. Who is this?
Oh, my name is Saul.
Saul?
Yes, Saul.
And you're calling from, I'm assuming you're calling from California if you're in Disneyland.
Yes, exactly. I'm visiting my brother who lives in Los Angeles, and I took a side trip to the Magic Kingdom.
Well, that's exciting.
It's very exciting. I've never been here before. It's delightful.
And where are you from, Saul?
I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love.
Okay, so you made a trip out to the other side of the country to visit your brother.
3,000 miles, I'm told.
Well, I'm sorry?
I'm told it's 3,000 miles. That's what the screen on the airplane said.
Yeah, that is. That's the screen on the airplane said it's 3,000 miles.
It doesn't say it out loud. It's written.
Yes,
I can read.
It is. I never thought you couldn't read. I didn't mean to insult you.
I guess that didn't need to be said. I'm not accusing you of anything.
Okay. Well, Saul,
if you're not accusing me of anything.
I'm not accusing you of anything. So you came out to visit your brother.
Yes.
And who is your brother, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, well, my brother's name is Paul. He's my twin brother. He lives in Los Angeles. He's in the entertainment industry, much like Seth's brother, Zach, is, I suppose, from what I understand.
Yeah. Hey, what's your last name?
Oh, Tompkins.
Hey, is your brother Paul F. Tompkins that guy that's on Best Week Ever that they talk about all that stuff that's going on in the entertainment business?
That's exactly right. That's exactly who he is.
Oh, man. That stuff is so funny. Your brother is so funny on that. Hey, is there a Bojangles at that Disneyland?
I haven't found it yet, but I've eaten all manner of things so far. I had something called a kahuro. It's apparently from the Latin countries or something. It's just basically cinnamon dough with some sugar on top.
That sounds good. Hey, I like how you guys cut into like Britney Spears and stuff, and you're like, what do you come up with that stuff? Like, and you just like talk. Who are you talking to?
Oh, you'd have to ask my brother that. I'm not in the.
Well,
who's the business myself.
Who's he talking? Don't you ask him that stuff? I asked Zach what he like. Zach was in Corky Romano with Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm like, hey, what was that like? So what was it like? What does your brother Paul know what it's like to like I mean, do you ever ask him what it is like to make fun of?
I asked him some questions. I mean, a lot of the questions are of the the what makes you think you're so funny variety, if you know what I mean. I guess it's common with brothers, their little sibling rivalry. But I think of the two of us, I'm much funnier than he is.
Saul, you know what? It's funny that you say that because everybody in my family, they're like, Seth, why aren't you a stand-up comedian? Why don't you do it? You're sharp-minded. You know the world that's going on, and Zach's just a weirdo. He's just a drunk out there doing stuff, and why can't you do it? So maybe you should.
I'll tell you, yes, just from listening to you speak on this radio program, it seems like you have a lot to say, and I think you'd probably be pretty wry.
I would say, yes, I would say there's a wry quality to Seth.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you agree.
Well, what do you do for a living, Saul?
I work in the library industry.
The library industry?
Yes.
You mean like a library?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Or do you build libraries?
No. I'm a librarian.
Oh, okay.
So you're familiar with the Dewey Decimal System?
Oh, am I ever?
Tell us about that.
Well, it's just the most efficient decimal system that you could ask for, and that's why Dewey is a personal hero of mine. I don't know why we haven't adopted his decimal system across the board for just about everything. I've been circulating an online petition for years to try to get it to be 10 eggs in a carton
instead of 12.
Yes, which it is currently.
Not a bad idea.
Wow.
Right? I mean, first of all, it's a shorter carton, so that's more room in the fridge. It's easier to carry home.
It makes sense.
You just know how many eggs you have at all times.
I can see how you are related to Paul.
Why do you say that?
It's just
Something
that
in my
same.
voice? It sounds similar.
Well, the voice sounds. It's just I can hear traces of the voice, but it's just that same sense of humor.
I don't know what you're saying.
Like I would almost have thought that would be a joke. I could picture that being a joke either of the Tompkins could possibly do.
You mean, well, if you're saying that I say something very sincerely and then Paul makes fun of it, then you're absolutely right. And I guess you do have a little window into our world, but I wasn't joking about that. I really am trying to get it down to 10 eggs in a carton.
Oh, so this is not just a little flight of fancy for you.
Well, it's not just a little flight of fancy in that it's not one of those at all.
Okay, I didn't.
I mean, do you think there's something wrong with there only being 10 eggs in a carton? Is there a downside to that?
Well, it sounds like I might think it's a little insurmountable.
Oh, well, I think you just have to believe that you can do it, and then you start there, and then things sort of take care of themselves with hard work.
Well, it sounds like you've got your work cut out for you.
Well, I'm up to the challenge. I mean, I believe in this, and I think that the rest of the country can get behind it, if not the world.
It sounds very exciting. Now, Seth, do you have anything that maybe you and Saul might have in any questions? Being the sibling of a performer.
Yeah. Does Paul make you watch all his stuff when you're at a family reunion?
I wish he would wait for a family reunion. He sends me the stuff, FedEx, because I've run out of excuses as to why I can't see it live. So he will make sure I get every tape, every DVD, whatever format. He sent me podcasts, are they called?
Yes, podcasts.
Yes.
That's what this is.
I don't have one of those MP3 players, so I don't know what he's trying to do, but I just delete them immediately from my email account.
Uh-huh.
He's very insistent. He quizzes me. There's a lot of, he throws in trick questions. What did you think of my blue tie? Well, I thought it brought out your brown eyes. Well, I was wearing a yellow tie, and my eyes are blue, which is a lie because he wears color contact.
Yeah, he tricks you a little bit just to make sure you're on top of your toes.
Yes. Does Zach do that as well?
He does a bit. I mean, what he does is he comes down to family reunions and stuff. We had a family reunion in Newark because we have a lot of family in New Jersey.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And
Newark is very nice.
And he's like, "Hey, let's drive around." And he kept driving around in Newark, and he would walk up to people. He'd park his car, walk up to people, and ask how many blocks Times Square was. And I was like, I don't get it.
I don't get that either.
I actually don't get that either.
Well, what he explained...
That makes three of us.
Well, no, I get it, because he explained it to me, Saul. Yes. I think he was telling me that Newark and New York sound so much alike that he's trying to F with people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just on the basis of New York and Newark sounding the same,
Paul,
if you're not 100% paying attention, that's a joke?
Saul, that is exactly my point. Like, I don't get it. Like, why is that it all, like, that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. Like, he is embarrassing.
I don't know what it is with these showbiz types who feel that it's their duty to make fun of people who aren't in show business, as if we're just so much fodder for their routines or skits. And I'll tell Paul, I'll talk to him all the time, and I'll see that look in his eye when we're having a conversation, and I will say to him, no, do not put this in a skit, because I will not stand for it, and I'm entitled to my dignity.
So do you like any of, like, Paul's spoofs?
I like there have been some send-ups that I've enjoyed, a few blurbs, but overall, I don't like his spoofs or skits or routines or acts.
What would be more your cup of tea comedically, Saul?
Oh my gosh! How about a good old-fashioned pun? I mean, that to me is where it's at. You know, I think it's. I just love the fact that some words, sound like other words, and you might mistake them for each other. And not in the New York Newark way, but I'm talking that they sound exactly alike. You know, and so by the end of the joke, you don't know. You end up at a different place than you think you started out at. Forgive my dangling participle or preposition or whatever it's called.
Well, I didn't have a problem with it.
Well, just in case you did, I was ready with an apology.
I barely noticed it.
Well, thank you. You're a gentleman. Now, let me ask you this:
your
train is about to take off.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. It looks like your train's there.
I'm outside of Mickey's Toontown right now, which is fun because it's just all the characters from the great Mickey Mouse series, and all those characters are so funny. Mickey and Goofy and Pluto, they're just they crack me up. They're just hilarious, aren't they?
I kind of like the Disney characters.
Oh, the cartoons! But I mean, the cartoons are just so funny, and I just think about all the hours of laughter that Mickey and his friends have given us, and it's so much fun to see them walking around, because when I see them, I think, oh, you made me laugh so much as a child, and as an adult too, if I'm honest.
Like, what is there a particular cartoon that is kind of the one that kills you the most?
Oh boy, titles I'm not good with, but I think it was one with
like Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie, of course, is great, and you can see that on a big screen here if you care to. That's his most famous one, but of course there's just ones where Mickey's doing things and people are trying to confound him, but then in the end he gets something done. No, he doesn't get something done, and he's kind of frustrated, which we can all relate to.
Sure.
I love that Donald Duck. I wish he wasn't so formal. You have to call him by his full name. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think we were losing you there for a second, Saul.
Next caller, right?
Wow.
I don't blame you.
No. I just like saying stuff like that. Next caller.
You sound like an old hand now at this.
Is it fun to be on the radio? It sounds like fun.
Well, Saul, maybe if you're ever up in this area, well, actually, if you're from Philadelphia, maybe you could take the Amtrak up one of these days.
I'll take the Acela train sometimes. It's so fast, like an hour.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're welcome to come up and maybe give us some insight into the Tompkins family.
Oh, thank you very much. Tom, is it?
Yes, it is Tom.
Tom, I thank you for your gracious invitation.
Oh, well, and you enjoy Disneyland.
Thank you. Yes, the parade is starting. I should go.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you. It was a treat to talk to you, fellas. Thank you so much for giving me some of your radio time.
Have a good night, Saul.
Hey, you too, Seth. Great to meet you over the airwaves.
Maybe we'll meet one day, face to face.
Oh, I hope so. I hope
Next
so.
Next caller, please.
We're moving on. That was kind of exciting, huh?
Yeah, he was nice.
You two probably have so much in common. If you were to just sit down, just kind of, I don't want to say living in the shadow of your brother, but I mean both of your brothers have a modicum of fame, and but you live a regular life. You're a football coach.
I'm a high school football coach for the Flaming Arrows.
Okay, and how did the last season go?
Well, last year we were 2-8.
Okay,
that was because our quarterback and our halfback got into a little bit of trouble. I won't talk about that on air in case they're listening. Well, I'm sure they're not listening. But we're not. We didn't do as well as we thought we was going to do. But this year, and as motivation, my wife works at Macrame Hut, and in the off season, I have the boys macrameing stool covers for like the stools in your home, stool benches. Their numbers, that my wife is helping them with their numbers, just to get morale up, because last season we had such a bad season. So, but next year we're going to turn that 2-8 to 7-3.
Well, that would be a pretty huge turnaround.
Yeah.
So making the numbers, macrameing the numbers, helps the kids learn numbers?
Johnny, I'm not too sure because
Tom.
This is the first time I came up with it. My wife and I were at church, and I'm like, hey, listen, what about the boys macrameing their numbers and putting it on as stool seat covers? Just to get, on the off season, to get them going, to get them thinking about the fall. Okay. And we'll see. I think that there's probably some, hopefully there'll be a extended pride that goes along with it.
Sure. I guess if you put the time into macrameing.
Well, it only takes 8 weeks. I mean, it's not like it's going to be a.
Well, that's a pretty substantial time.
It's 2 months. It's not that big of a deal. If you don't know what you're doing macrame, it takes about 8 weeks to do it. So by the time the end of July or mid-July, they'll be about 2 weeks out from practice. So.
Okay. And then you feel maybe the pump is primed at that point. Their minds are on.
That's my hope. That's my hope. They haven't injured their fingers too much with the macrame, and stuff, and get carpal tunnel syndrome and stuff like that.
Well, that's something you might want to think about for your quarterback. Maybe he should go easy on the macrame. Perhaps.
Well, you know what is funny about that? And I was thinking about this. His number is number 4, so he doesn't have to do another number.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So it's a single digit.
Yep.
FMU, you're on the air.
Hey, guys. How are you? This is Erica.
Hey, Erica. How are you tonight?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm okay. Do you have a question for Seth?
I do. You guys are so different, you and Zach. And I'm just wondering if maybe there was some kind of trauma in the womb or something that happened when you were younger where you guys kind of veered off personality-wise. I mean, you're so different.
Well, I'll tell you this. The first 12 years of our life were exactly the same. Like a lot of twins, our mother dressed us the same. We were wearing, Billy Ray Cyrus T-shirts, exactly matching each other. And, tucked in khakis and that kind of thing. And
now, was that your parents doing that, or was it Zach being like, well, if Seth is going to wear it, I want to wear it, and if same for you.
It was my idea.
Okay.
A lot of it, because after 5, my mom stopped.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, hey Zach, maybe we should continue this as our identity. And so up till 12, we would wear our same things. Like we would wear these. I don't know if I can say this on the air, but we wore these crazy "Who Farted" T-shirts to to like events and stuff. And that's that was Zach's idea.
Okay.
That was his thing, but I agreed with it.
Okay.
And but after that, Zach saw he saw the movie Karate Kid. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, there's other things in life, I guess. And he wanted to go out and venture the world and see other things. And then I was more content with, hanging out with Mama, and working the square dances. And Zach thought he was Ralph Macchio for about 6 years after that.
Wow.
And then he started dressing like Prince.
Okay. So Karate Kid was the turning point.
That was the turning point, and then he bought Sign of the Times, that Prince record.
Sure.
And he started watching Prince a lot, and this was when he just got into college, and he started dressing just like Prince.
Wow, I never pictured him actually dressing like
This
Prince.
is stuff he won't tell you, but I'm telling you, he would dress like Prince.
Back then,
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did Karate Kid not speak to you as much? Did you both see it? Was it a thing where you're like, I'm staying, like you were saying, I'm staying home and...
Nope, we went to the movie theater together, and we had just snuck out of Yentl.
Okay.
And went over to see Karate Kid. Mm-hmm. And Zach, I could tell a difference right after it happened.
Uh-huh.
He would quote the movie a lot, and he always wore a bandana on his head, and he would look for a pier to balance on, like an old rundown pier.
Okay.
And it just seemed fake. It just seemed like, hey man, wake up! That's a movie. This is
okay. Like there was a real affected quality to it.
Absolutely. He had got an infection.
But you were still you.
I was like, hey, wake up. Mm-hmm. Seth and Zach. This is the Seth and Zach show. Mm-hmm. And then he started, doing a bunch of other stuff. Like, he and I used to like listen to Huey Lewis and the News and like groove out to that and, that kind of thing. And then he started listening to more like heavy stuff like the Spin Doctors.
So that was kind of another one of the things you just kind of.
Well, the Spin Doctors like
with.
hippies. They're like they're hippies. Mm-hmm. And Huey was like talking about sports and stuff, and I'm like a sports fanatic. I love sports. I mean, the name of that album is Sports.
Sure.
And next thing I know, Zach's being a hippie, and then going through that stage, and then then he really got into. Well, I invited him to this Miami Sound Machine concert because he loved Miami Sound Machine. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, man, Gloria's going to be in town.
Okay.
And he's like, no, I'm not interested in that. I could care less. Because you know what he said?
What's that?
Morris Day is in town and the time.
Wow.
And that was one of those moments where we split, where it was like, all right, that's it. He's gone. He's gone. Mm-hmm.
Now, was he wearing, when you say he dressed like Prince, was it he was wearing purple or he was wearing a lot of like long coats? And
he was wearing long coats and like gold, a lot of like gold lapel stuff and
like frilly stuff?
A lot of rings.
Okay.
And he made friends with two girls who happened to be Wendy and Lisa.
Sure, the two people who were the two girls who were in the Revolution.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Hey, they're not in the Revolution. Those girls are just named Wendy and Lisa." He's like, "Back off, Seth. Back off. This is my life." Okay. And that's when that was it. I saw him walk away, and that was it.
Now, was that hard for you?
Yeah, when you're a twin, Johnny, you get these kind of like I think you share the same umbilical cord. I mean, obviously we didn't share it after came out of my mama.
Of course.
But you share this thing in the womb, and then you share it for years and years, and then one of you walks away. How would you feel?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that it's going from something that's a true connection, and you're watching that connection kind of start to fracture.
Do you have a brother and a sister?
I have a sister and 3 brothers.
Are you close to any of them?
No.
Well, then I can't draw an example.
Okay. I mean, I have empathy for a situation like that, though.
But I will tell you what, we did bond over that calamari last night. I mean, there's certain things that bring you back. Like, hey, man, this is it. We are brothers. We are twin brothers. We both like calamari. We both like the Fugees.
The Fugees is also another kind of common ground.
Zach likes the Fugees. I like the Fugees.
Okay. Well, it's important to have those things, to know what those things are. You're not the same person. You're both 2 very different people at this point, but you still have those touchstones that you can always bond.
I think my dream is to go to those twin conventions where you see people like that look alike, and of course they are brothers or brother and sister or sisters, and that was my dream, is to do that as a kid, and then Zach just walked away.
Before you could get old enough to where it would be impressive.
I will. What?
Well, if you if you're kids, you see plenty of twins wearing the same outfits because the parents are running the show. But when you're adults, it's kind of like you made the choice as adults. It's like, hey, let's keep this thing going full on for the rest of our lives. And that's when it gets a little more rarer.
It may so be, but that's the reason my wife and I dress exactly the same. Is we wear our state fair T-shirts. We have a Chihuahua that I said Chihuahua. We have a Chow named Funyuns that we have a picture of Funyuns on our T-shirts, and we sometimes we'll go to like a church picnic like that, and I think she's almost substituted
for Zach.
That void in my life of dressing like, hoping that Zach would be that person for me.
Sure.
But now it's my wife.
Well, as long as the void is being filled in some capacity. You know what I wanted to ask? Can you describe, Seth, like what is like a day in the life?
Of late or just in general? Because we've been celebrating. I'm Greek Orthodox, like Zach is, and we've been celebrating 40 days of like I said, the biscuits.
Okay.
Jesus has risen, but the biscuits haven't.
Sure.
But
outside of this stretch right here.
Well, I get up, I jog. I do about 2 miles of jogging. I wash my car every day. And I wash my car in the morning right after I'm done jogging because I don't want to get the soap. I don't want to shower after I jog and then go wash my car, and then the soap from the car wash gets on me and I got to shower again. So I wash my car every day. I listen to a lot of well, I teach. You know that I'm a driver's ed and also football coach. Coach Gross, Jim Gross is my assistant coach. We watch a lot of films on other teams, North Iredell High School, Watauga High School. So we watch a lot of films during the day. But school's almost over, so I'm thinking about summer and what I'm going to do with the summertime.
Yeah.
And my nephew and I are getting ready to build a go-kart. And we're going to Detroit, Michigan. There's a little Detroit, Michigan that's called a fun run. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So we go to Detroit, Michigan. There's a go-kart thing going on, and so I'm building go-karts right now, or getting ready to build those. I watch a lot of the View in the mornings.
Okay, you're a fan of the View.
I don't like that large lady, but I like Becky Hasselbeck, I think is her name.
Sure, yeah, you're kind of a fan of her.
Yeah, she's a defender of the president, which I think is, enough is enough is the way I see it. Like, things aren't going so well. I'll be the first to admit it, but lay off the guy. I mean, he seems like a decent man, and his mother Barbara is one of the most decent of human beings. Mm-hmm. And I have like I said, I have a blog, and I rollerblade a lot.
Okay.
I'm always rollerblading.
Mm-hmm.
And then at night, Sheila and I, we go to Captain's Table, which is a really amazing restaurant in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, or we go to Hardee's. And Hardee's, my wife is a bit big. I mean, she's like tall. I don't mean she's taller than I am. And,
okay.
And every night we go, well, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday and Sunday nights we go to Hardee's, and they have this thing called the Monster Biscuit.
Okay.
But it's only for breakfast.
Okay.
But every night she's like, hey, through the drive-thru, she's like, hey, do you have any Monster Biscuits left? I'm like, Sheila, come on, they don't got no Monster. It's hilarious. I mean, it's kind of this running gag or spoof that she does.
That you go to the place 9 hours after they stopped serving breakfast.
But I think she really does want I mean, you never know. I mean, sometimes I was thinking the other day, hey, there's no way that that they run out of Monster, but they might have a Monster Biscuit in the back that they haven't used. Mm-hmm. So she has kind of a good point.
Well, I guess it's a matter of, there might be an element of maybe that could be arranged. You know, let them know in the morning. It's like, we might swing by tonight at 8 o'clock. Can you hold a Monster Biscuit under the heat lamp until we get there?
That's a great idea. Are you wireless in here?
No.
Oh.
We don't have any internet at this radio station.
I'm gonna email her. That's a good idea.
What would be like a goal of yours that maybe nobody knows about?
Me personally, outside of like football and family?
Yeah. Like, is there a secret desire? I mean, you mentioned you'd like to be a part of the entertainment industry, but what would be if you could if a genie would grant a wish? What would the wish be?
Well, one of them off the top of my head, and this isn't my number one goal, but one of them is to own a collection of Puma cleats from every year since they started making Puma cleats.
Okay.
My next one is I wouldn't mind being a beekeeper.
All right. You mean like with are the cages, or are they? I don't even know what those are called.
I don't either.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what.
Okay.
I haven't explored it yet.
Okay.
I make my own kites.
Okay.
So I make a lot of kites. The boys come over to the house. Mm-hmm. We fly a lot of kites together. I'm kind of a aerodynamic, aeroengineering type of guy. Like, I love flying and I love kites. Mm-hmm. And I like to be in kite competition.
Okay. I mean, I've seen kite fighting where people try to crash their kites into each other. You try to knock the other guy's kite, cut the other guy's string. One
of my dreams is to tickle the jet engine of an American Airlines flight with one of my kites, just to get it high enough. Mm-hmm. Like, you're in seat 23B. Mm-hmm. You're at the window seat.
Okay.
And you're at cruising altitude. You're at 33,000 feet. Mm-hmm. And you look to your side and you're like, my God, there's a kite that high up, and it's still on its string.
Wow, would be.
But it's important that 23B is behind the wing, because you don't want the kite string to hit that wing, because A, it's bad for the kite, and number two, you're not going to be able to enjoy the kite as long as you wanted to, because the wing will take that away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you also don't want the kite going into the engine or anything like that.
I also would love to learn Spanish to see what all those Spanish people are talking about, see if they're talking about me.
Mm-hmm. You think they are talking about you?
Well, you think. I mean, you go into like a store and stuff, like a Hardee's or something like that, and they're all speaking Spanish, and you're like, wait a minute. I don't hear anybody saying stuff that I just ordered. Mm-hmm. They're probably saying, so I'd love to learn Spanish for that reason.
And would you not tell anyone that you knew Spanish? Would you not let on?
No, so that's the whole secret. It'd be like a real stealth thing.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you could drop it on people all of a sudden as like dropping the A-bomb on them all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'd say something like, hey, where's your aspiradora? Mm-hmm. Which means vacuum cleaner.
Okay, like if you heard, well, you're already on the way then. That's
aspiradora is my favorite Spanish word.
But if you heard them, for example, say something like, "This guy seems like a total jerk," I hate his fat face.
Well, I jog a lot.
Well, no, you know what I mean. Just like it's like an expression.
I'd say back to them, probably in English, because I don't agree with them coming over here and speaking that way. I'd say, "Hey, listen, I understood what you just said. By the way, large fries, Diet Dr. Pepper, and stop running your mouth like that. I'm an American.
Okay.
Go back to Portugal."
Well, that's something that's a more attainable goal, I would say, learning Spanish, than maybe getting a kite to go up as high as a.
Well, listen, I'll be the first to admit that the kite thing that's going to take a lot of work. But the Spanish thing I can do.
Yes. Well, we're kind of in the home stretch here.
Tom, thanks for having me on and stuff. It's been
well, thank you for coming down. It's very exciting to have you here.
You do this every night?
It's every Tuesday night.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, just once a week.
Why can't you do it like they're not good enough for every night?
Probably not, actually. If I think about it, if I have to be completely honest, I actually might not be good enough.
Well, I can see.